topic, mood, mind, and mindset or mindfulness. These are the three different criteria.
Yes, yes,
Looking
yes.
at let me repeat that one, Desmond Green, we discussed yesterday, but I'll repeat this thing and then he can add on that side. So what happens in the mind has a directly related to the mood. Mood is the one controls the mind to change the thought process, which is impacting the mindset, right? So where this mood change, so it goes with the six senses we have in the body.
Mm-hmm.
The first is definitely what you see,
Mm-hmm.
right? As soon as you see something, it triggers the mood, changes right
Mm-hmm.
away. Whether
Mm-hmm.
you look at the huge fire in front of you, big hole in front of you, you got the wild, crazy animal in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
right? These are the things. As soon as you see something, in a matter of millisecond, it triggers your mind to change
Mm-hmm.
the mood.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're doing, the mood will impact to change. Maybe escape route to do something, that sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is definitely start from the body. The second is coming what? The ears. You
Mm-hmm.
hear something. We hear the big noise, thunderstorm, huge accident, a lot of things. As soon as we hear, the mood
Mm-hmm.
changes. Means whatever
That's
we
right.
do with the body, it changes. Third thing, you coming down to the body, what do you smell?
Mm-hmm.
The stinky food, right? Case you smell of
Mm-hmm.
burning or something. You are feeling unconscious or you are feeling like hard to breathe. Those comes from the smell. You go further down, that's the fourth sense is the taste,
Mm-hmm.
right? Fifth test is basically the feeling, means any part of the body touching something and it feels the physically. And that is also change the mood. For example, let's say little kid, as soon as they see something on the stove, burning food or boiling water or something, they might touch it. What happens immediately? The
Mm-hmm.
sense is, oh, wow,
Mm-hmm.
the mood is changing.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind thought process is changing and body is reacting right away. So there's a fifth sense. The sixth sense is definitely the reading. Sometimes you read and you can be in imagination or visualization process, we call it. That is how these a lot of people read the novels, the book, which takes them, the writers and the people, we call it the novelist. They write certain things. So while you're reading with the patience and a lot of concentration with the focus, they are trying you to the deep and picturing that the image in your mind, whether it's a horror story or it's a love story or romance, comedy. Well, what it all this does is the reader is, we call it the hypnotize,
Mm-hmm.
to be in the things he's reading. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it starts like we are going ghost town and 30 building, and all of a sudden you start thinking, you are imagining, wow, where I am. You are just reading right now, but all of a sudden the mood
Mm-hmm.
changes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when mood changes, the second thing is happens is the mindset get disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
Mindset, whatever in current situation you are, it's automatically changes because of this mood change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as the mindset triggers, it changes the whole process based on the mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, changing mood or understanding the mood and how it impacts the mindset. The mindset is not the physical part of the body or component where doctor will tell you, okay, we can take a crap here, and if you go inside, there is a mind. No, there is no physical part. It's inside the brain. It's a think tank, we call it. If you look at the body as a computer, your brain is the motherboard, but the processor is that mind inside. It's
mhm,
invisible, but it
mhm,
all does business, right?
mhm,
And the coming straight to our point of discussion is people talk about mindset, but really don't know what the mindset is. Just like don't know where the mind is or how to control it. Mind controls the body, but we
mhm,
are unable to figure out how to control the mind.
mhm,
Top of that, whether it's a young kid or older kid or adult, it's a very difficult to explain how to deal with this mindset process through the mindfulness unless they
mhm,
really know what the problem is.
mhm,
It is just like you got the whole body when you go to the doctor. Don't stand in front of the doctor and he'll fix it. You still have
mhm,
to tell the doctor what part of the body has the problem,
mhm,
what is happening.
mhm,
And based on that, doctor will try to do some testing, some diagnostics, some
mhm,
research, some testing and analysis before he come for remedy to fix it, right?
mhm, mhm,
So in the same one, after all my readings and so many years talking with plenty of people in this mindset and mental process, mental training in sports, I came out to the conclusion is it's a easy to fix mindset. A person really know what is the problem is
mhm,
because mindset can be impacted, disturbed, or changed depends on so many things. But what is the
mhm,
thing causing you? I have different thinking. Dannise has different thinking. Desmond has
mhm,
different thinking. Mr. Chambers has a different thing. How I know what's going on?
mhm.
We can say there's a mindset problem. It's easy to say.
Yeah.
But in a mindset, let's say distraction, right? Confidence, which is the lack of confidence, can derail, right? Frustration, anxiety. I can keep the list. 30 plus factors can impact your mindset.
Mhm,
And believe it or not, I did a lot of kind of my own personal research with the players and all those. And I see that everyone has a different factor or thing missing or lacking to their proper mindset.
mhm, mhm,
They don't have the all ingredient together, but there is a something we have. So the point is now we need to find out what exactly causing that problem, and that is what we need to fix. That's one thing.
mhm,
Number two, whatever this causing, whether it's anxiety or lack of confidence or getting mad, frustration, it's happening for a reason. And that reason going to start with that mood again. Whether this person has seen something,
mhm,
heard something, smelled something, and it's coming back,
mhm,
right? The one good example out of this whole mess is we go to the restaurant and take the huge menu. There is no physical food in front of you at the table. We are just
mhm,
looking at the menu.
mhm,
The most likely we are looking at the item's name and the price. But at the same time, you will start reading the ingredients. What is inside if I order that food? What happens
mhm,
here? As soon as you
mhm,
start reading salt, yes, all senses know what the salt test looks like. It is spicy. What happens? You just reading.
mhm,
But all those components we're talking, visualization, imagination, everything is in your head right away as soon as you read that word.
mhm,
So my conclusion, as we're discussing with the Desmond for a year or so right now, and we come to the conclusion that to change these things and to help someone with whatever is causing, the most important and easiest things we can do is change the mood.
mhm,
Right?
mhm,
A lot of people they call it they are in depression, going through stress out situation for whatever reason. And when they are over the limit means they're getting frustrated because they can't think about what's going on in their head. What they end up with? Psychologist. What the psychologists do? They don't have any formula or medication. They might make you sleep
mm,
or make you a little bit think different way. But the normal approach, if we think about at least 200 years back when there was not much medical technology and all these medicines we have today, the only effective way from my reading in religious book was they had ability to change the mood on their own.
mhm,
That is what their superpower they had,
mhm,
to control the mind. And that is what the meditation is, one of the things. Meditation is not easy.
mhm,
And under meditation, thinking about one thing is impossible, right? And
mhm,
that's the toughest challenge now in the world. Our kids will not be able to live without a cell phone for more than 1 hour. You will not believe it.
mhm,
Take the cell phone away for 1 hour and see their anxiety and frustration,
mhm,
madness. You will see the mood changes
mhm,
because they just lost important part of that living lifestyle, we call it in modern technology world.
mhm,
So that's a one thing. Number two, even under the meditation, it's not easy to stay away from distractions and things happening surrounding you. So the most important part, factor we call it under the meditation is the deep breathing.
mhm,
When you deep breathe, I have some masters, Chambers, Desmond. We got plenty of masters on that one. One deep breathing means you are cleaning out everything out of your head during that process.
mhm,
As soon as you take the second breath, you are fresh.
mhm.
And that's only happens if it is a deep breathing.
Yeah.
The fast breathing is easy. You run 100 yards or swim little bit faster, walk little bit faster. The faster breathing is easy. It's automatic.
Mhm,
But the deep breathing, the lengthy breath is not easy.
mhm,
And that is the point. We need to find a way to convince the young youth players or any adult how we can provide this thing which can help them to understand rather than talking, preaching,
mhm,
listening, or reading. These are the time consuming.
mhm,
And that is what I believe the VR based technology, and I just read that whole thing, is a color stimulation screen on the computer, right?
mhm,
It's automatic. I can tell you why. It's natural, right? You're walking
mhm,
on the street, there are 50, 60 people around you,
mhm.
but all of a sudden you see the one
Mhm,
straightforward talking, young lady, looks nice, figure looks good. Guess what happens?
mhm,
It's a natural. It's a natural.
mhm,
Whether you are 18-year or 80-year-old, it's a natural. What happens?
mhm,
You automatically distracted for something.
mhm, mhm,
But in reality, it's not a distraction. Actually, it grabs your attention right away. I
mhm,
just said you might have 50, 100 people, but all of a sudden you're spinning your head for something. Means it's
mhm,
something attractive, something you like, something you start thinking about it. How about that? Right?
mhm,
The mind already started something about what you see. You're watching all these, and all of a sudden you locked to that
mhm,
site or to that person, or maybe the sign, or maybe something. Our eyes can see so many things at the same time, but why we are doing the focus? That is what it's coming from, right?
yeah. Mhm,
So this stimulation process, the videos, what I believe is we need to put this person As soon as they put video, let's say one thing I love to have it is basically snow skiing. The Olympians does this snow skiing from top of the hill and they're coming at the really high speed, right? So if you have these VR goggles and if you have that video, you'll be automatically in that motion. You are in that flow. You are not skiing, but all of a sudden, there's only thing close to your eyes, and you will be in a matter of few seconds, you are in. You feel like you are skiing. And because of that, the one problem can be solved. Whatever you had in current situation before you turn on that video on VR, you are completely off from everything, and now you are putting yourself into that snow skiing. It can be the high speed car racing. It can be the high surfing in ocean, right? It's something sprinting on the hill where your mind automatically attracts to the things you are concerned about. Let's take the one example. You go to the ride. This is the most common. If you look at the most of the human, any age, I will say, if you are going a roller coaster, when the ride is going up slowly, you are all fine. Nothing to worry about it. But as soon as you take you to the top, before it starts the speed and going down, guess what happens? The fear factor comes in it. Now you are worried about what's going to happen. So what happens at that point? You are excited to take ride. That's what you are in. You had enough patience. You are not worried. You don't have a fear, and that is the how you reach at the top. And all of a sudden, the mood changes because it sees something. It's hears a lot of cheers from the everybody, right? And then what happens here? So that is we call it the environment we need to create through the technology, so the person can understand. That's one thing. Number two, I already discussed these topics with the Dannise, and then thanks for the Dannise on that one. Every weekend we pick up a topic which is directly or indirectly related to the mindset process. Right now, we have not completed the all topics. I'm still behind it. What are the things can disturb or create the problem for mindset? We are going through that series. Once it is done, this is the second series we're going to talk. How you can practice to have the proper mindset. And to do that, this becomes really an important factor, right? Going back to that ride, what happens if somebody's open eye looking at the bottom and they have more fear and concern? That's why their head is down. You might have seen some people close their eyes and they are just holding ride just to make sure it just finished, so I can tell other people I took the ride, but really don't. They don't want to see anything. They don't want to hear things. They blank out, we call it. They lock their mind, blank out when you close your eye and put the head down in the ride, right? The third thing is a beautiful thing. You will see all those young kids, teenagers especially, between the age of 10 to 18. They go arm raised, wide eyes open, and they are loudly screaming. What's happened here? They are trying to kill that worry and fear factor of their head. And to fight that battle, this is the screaming, which is the aggressive mood they are taking to take the advantage. So there is a give and take in a mindset process. Anything we do or anything we try to do with the mind, which is controlling our body, it's always give and take. Means to get something out of that mindset, you must sacrifice or give up something in exchange. It cannot be like you gain everything out of it and you're not giving away anything. And that is the reason the process is very normal in a lifestyle. If somebody gets mad, frustrated, anger, what happens? You see the person you see On other side, it's immediately tell, can you count down?
Mhm.
So what is this is? The guy is mad, he's anger in a moment,
Mhm.
but the calmness is needed to take retaliation to fight against the angerness, right?
Mhm.
But the good thing is what we need to, which is I'm working on it. I'm not sure whether I'm going to finish that dream project or not. We need to create a lot of videos, no more than 2 minutes, where we can take this person from current situation to different situation. The mood changes, we call it. Right? Number two, it's not about just mood changing. Even you change the mood, we have to think the second alternative too. The good example is I can tell you simple. If you are eating spicy food, it is a natural. You're gonna go for the water right away. Right
Mhm.
away.
Mhm.
Right? If the water does not solve the problem, if it is not the right remedy, then you are thinking the step two. I need to eat something sweet, maybe cake or ice cream.
Mhm.
So this is what the mindset trick you. That's one of the senses. You tasted this spice, and now to kill it, you are going the water as a first, as an
Mhm.
immediate reaction. And
Mhm.
if you still feel to completely kill that, the hotness, the spicy thing you tasted, you're going on a sweeter part to fight with it.
Mhm.
So basically, what we need is the first is the videos need to be blended into as a mood changing moments,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
The reason for that, I give you that example if it's snow skiing coming fast down. Now think about it. It may solve about 18 or 20 different factors which is affecting or concern about the mindset. But all of a sudden, the two comes in your head, which is the fear and the worry. Now you are putting
Mhm.
in self in the skiers and things. What happens if it is accident, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So that is the point. As soon as you see, we need to have this challenging video where sometimes you can see scary moment. Sometimes you think about failure is a major concern. Sometimes you think about worrying, right?
Mhm.
I can tell you why. If you're looking driving in Los Angeles or New York City, right? That's a
Mhm.
worry.
Mhm.
Actually, maybe the fear. What happens if you get accident? Always there in your head. But what happens if you go Rio de Janeiro or something in Brazil, where the every road is a jam pack, right? And everybody is going at the speed. Now you got the worry too.
Mhm.
Before you go take this road, and if somebody has shown you how this Rio de Janeiro's traffic is, now you are concerned as soon as you land in this country,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
my point is, against with those six senses, there is a something immediately happens because you will be in the next moment.
Mhm.
And the next moment is what? It's coming. Either it's a progressive manner, something is ongoing, something incremental. We are all aging up one day every morning. Is that right? We are adding one day, right? So this
Mhm.
progressive and incremental is not going to change.
Mhm.
If someone is hungry and sleeping tonight, he'll be wake up hungry.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean he slept 12 hours and his hunger will die.
Mhm.
So the point is, those videos need to have a conclusive power to understand those major factors like a distraction, anxiety, frustration, low confidence, fear. worry, scary moment. Some laughing is what? You are having a fun, great amount of fun. That's what is laughing, right? You see
mm,
some sort
mhm,
of screen movie or reel or something. I love these games. The Fox channel always show that challenging games. People are going, jumping and hopping different things, and all of a sudden they get into the water. If you don't make it, what happened? It's a fun.
mm,
It's a fun.
mhm,
You are not doing it, but just
mhm,
looking at it, you are enjoying, right?
mhm,
Somebody who did not jump properly and slide into the dirty water, it's fun for me.
mhm,
So
mhm,
what we need to do is basically those are the things we need to create. So person can be constantly change of mood based on what's happening in head. How about that?
mm, 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 mm.
Right? If somebody watches horror movie before going sleep, do you think this horror movie is over because you turn off the TV? Even you sleep, the mind is still up.
Oh,
It's just like a
yes.
replay. It's rethinking all night, believe it or not.
Hmm.
It's not easy.
No.
So going back, we need to collect those videos and we can compile and create something like a menu, right? And the people can try different things. So one might be remedy for the frustration, another might be remedy for anxiety. Some is maybe if there's a lack of confidence, some
Mm,
is maybe for distraction, some may be helping to go the meditation side. Some
mm,
of the things is a deep breathing. Yeah?
mhm.
You will not believe
Yeah.
it. The natural deep breathing is there in every
Mhm,
park.
mhm,
The round thing, ride.
mhm,
When you go all the way up, you'll be fine. When this round machine coming down, you're always like deep breathing,
mhm.
going down, right? And you get
Yes.
relaxed coming back. So those are the things we need to create. So like deep breathing practice, I might go to the London Eye and take the video. London Eye is a huge, big circle.
Mhm,
It takes about 3.5 minutes. I did write twice, so I know it. It's 3.5 minutes from top to bottom.
mhm,
And that is the most beautiful time you can enjoy. It's moving slowly, slowly, slowly. So you are holding your breath and you are concerned about two things. While you're watching London, you are also concerned about how soon I'm going to go down.
mhm,
Think about it. So this like my point is we need to find these ideas where we can put the person to change the mood towards fun, enjoyment, and excitement rather than anything else. Because those are the things people love to enjoy, to have
Yeah.
fun first, right?
Yeah. Mhm,
And that is what we all people does, whether you go church or doctor. When somebody is having problems and issues, what we look into, they're trying to bring the normality
mhm,
whatever the abnormal situation we have in a mindset because of lack of mindfulness. That's for sure,
mhm,
100%.
mhm,
But at the
mhm,
same time, even we have the full book or
mhm,
information about mindfulness, it still come to the point. What is the concern and how we fix it?
mhm. You know,
Right?
Jatin,
But
I I think this is perhaps the most important conversation taking place on the planet right now. And when you identified earlier that we are literally computers, biological computers, copying, pasting, and running with the cosmos, literally, because we are all locked into what I call the universal source. You say God, somebody else might say spirit, but we're all locked into that source right now. And we're locked into it from the inside. There's no way you can delete yourself. No, it doesn't happen. There's no delete button, there's no reverse button. So for me, the journey to this conversation has been the journey into what I call finding my soul, or finding my place in the universal source. So that from that place in me, I can work with the source, which is manifesting me and supplying me with the resources to create my experiences. So when I heard people talking about mindfulness, I went one step back to the point you mentioned, breath. So I designed a program I called Breathfulness,
Yep.
because it's all about what you do with your breath.
Right.
Uh, so I'm enjoying, and I don't know where what Dennis's journey has been, but
Before Dannise start, I can give you the one of the greatest example. It's coming from my religion
uh-huh,
about this, how you can blank out this mind under the meditation.
yeah,
The Buddha,
mm-hmm,
a lot of Asian country follow Buddha as the god.
mm-hmm,
This guy, if you read the story, it's a prince, belong to the king.
mm-hmm,
And after that, he walked away from this world.
mm-hmm,
He decided to go away from the world. So he went into the meditation by shutting off all senses.
mm-hmm,
He closed his eyes so he don't want to see anything. He closed his ears so he cannot hear anything. He closed his nose so he don't smell anything. He zipped so he don't want to talk. He sit down under the tree. So physical senses are gone, reading
mm-hmm,
gone. So he shut down all these six senses completely off his head.
mm-hmm,
But to understanding the right way is to mindfulness is important
mm-hmm.
to understand. If you really want to do well, what do you need to adopt or what do you need to really apply to fix in that current situation? If you can't fix the current situation, then it's going to escalate to the next, towards the
Yes,
failure, right?
yeah,
And that is
absolutely,
what, and that's a beautiful thing to say, that mindset is important as well as mindfulness is more important, because without that knowledge, you will not know how to fix it.
absolutely, because we're talking about skill set. You see,
Right.
if you don't have the skills to manage the energy which your breath is supplying you with, you're in trouble. So everything you're saying there is very important. And for me, the journey into what I call that breathfulness, that where you recognize that your breath is the God that is running the universe,
Mm-hmm.
is running your body. And what you have to do is to develop the skill set
Right.
to ride with that breath, ride to wherever
Mm-hmm.
you want to go,
Mm-hmm.
ride into the direction you want to go.
Right.
And so that my journey has been a journey into finding myself as my breath, and then allowing my breath to connect me with my source. I call it and US, us,
Mm-hmm.
universal source, knowing that you are a universal soul. 'Cause everybody's looking for their soul.
Right.
The issue is where to locate it and find it. And when you locate it in yourself
Yeah.
and find it in yourself, then you're ready to go in whatever direction you choose to go. Because the universal source is there, has always been there, will always be there, and you have to develop the personalization, customization tools, which then comes into what you were saying. Um, your senses, your copying machine. What
Yep.
are you copying?
Mm-hmm.
You're copying from the universal source. And every image you're looking at, you're copying from that. This, these are images of my source.
Yep.
The taste, the smell, the five senses, and then the you, who you identify yourself to be, with access to all of this universal source.
That is correct.
So, yes, so I'm looking at it and saying, okay, my journey has been a journey into, yes, I developed the moods channel. And I developed the moods channel because somewhere about nearly 20 years ago, there was a big hurricane called Ivan. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
remember.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a New Orleans disaster.
That's right. And I was in my house and I'm looking, I see Ivan all the way walking up
Yeah.
to Florida. And the spirit said, hmm, Ivan is doing all of this. People are waiting until Ivan reaches them. What are they doing? And, going back to what you're saying, what's happening outside is impacting your
Exactly.
computer, and you
Yep.
have to be computing your response and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. You're going right. So it comes to the physical, practical thing we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to the certainties of the universal source? Because believe me, the universal sources are certain, which is why it is important for me in my inside to be certain of what I am, because I'm being created from certain stuff. The fabric making up my body, my mind, and everything are certain fabric, and they have to interface and interact with what's going on. So, in a wonderful way, again, my journey has been looking at how I can manage the energies that are available to me, negotiate the incoming energies of the cosmos, and convert it into the happiness that I want, the health that I want, the wealth that I want, the security that I want, the freedom that I want, the satisfaction that I'm looking for, the sweetness that I want. And working with you, Jay, and Dennis, and looking and saying, okay, the goggles need to be what I call immersion goggles, where you assure the mind.
It's a kind of simulation through the
Yes,
interactive
yes,
video series. Yeah.
yes. You assure the mind that it is not at risk.
No.
Yeah. And when you can immerse yourself in the images that you're looking at without being afraid of them, Immerse yourself in the colors that you're looking at without being afraid. Immerse yourself in your cosmos without being afraid. No, you don't need to be afraid of death or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Once you settle those features in your life,
Right.
then you can begin to talk with the universe.
Yep.
So I'm looking at videos where you say, for instance, okay, very brief, short videos. What am I saying that I am? I am my breath.
Yep.
And I take the breath, I confirm. Tick the box off. I am my spirit. I am my energy. I am my innate. All of these I can tick off as I say that. I am my body. I am my planet. And I am my cosmos. And I come back to me. I go out, I come back. So videos that are some short videos like that, which we install in the as a software in the immersion goggles.
Right.
And as we had spoken a long time ago, he said, when you were in the swimming in the big rivers,
Right.
from one end to the next. See
Especially
how?
knowing, right?
That's
Knowing,
right.
and the boats are moving around, and you can see like, oh, I'm taking right,
Yeah. Those were immersion exercises. You were
right, right,
developing
right.
skills
Yeah.
to ride with the universe so that as the energizer that you are, you're not in fear
Hmm.
because you
Yeah.
have settled with your source.
Yeah.
And Dennis, I don't know what Dennis's journey has been to this point, but this is certainly a
It is.
wonderful, for me, a wonderful meeting place where we are having this totally priceless conversation. Um, I would say convened by the cosmos.
This is the first discussion with the Dannise at this level. So it's a surprise ride for him when I invited today.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, he'll be scratching head from here on. Believe it or not.
Yes. Okay.
But looking at this thing as we doing it, we are just talking VR. But nowadays, if you look at it, normal being, you go walk anywhere in a mall or any public place,
Yeah.
you see a lot of people are spending more time looking at their cell phones, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we need to do is the three things. Number one, VR base is definitely help the individual, any adult, to go
Hmm.
in a peace of mind or in
Hmm.
a refreshing mood or to
Hmm.
reset the mindset, whatever it is. If you need the peaceful moment, VR is the best.
Yes.
To
Absolutely.
just change the mood, the regular video on cell phone can be helpful. So I will definitely go for the second option with
Hmm.
this cell phone mobile application.
Hmm.
And when we can create maybe about 1 dozen video clips, because there are a lot of things are common. We call it distraction, frustration,
Hmm.
anxiety, right? These are like
Hmm.
staying into focus, stay away from the fear, worry free. These are the things can be easily explained through the video. It can
Hmm.
change right away. But the
Yeah.
biggest thing is, I already started this project and I have some details on it, and I'm about to release. How to
Hmm.
convince this little kid about, let's say, 10-year-old? It's very hard to explain. It's very hard to even know what's
Uh,
going on in his head.
as I
I
said,
have this simple game they can play on their own, and I
you know,
can tell them why happening or what's happening in a
Jay,
matter of 3 minutes.
Jay,
Yeah,
what I'm skipping in a sense into the immersion experience where you don't try to explain anything because that's the mental stuff. You
that's it.
just get deep right into the experience. Okay, you have the goggles on, or you have the, and you are in the experience, as you said earlier. And our series of videos would be sucking them into the experience, and then developing the habit of engaging your cosmos personally without the intellectual intervention, because that's another distraction all by
Yeah,
itself.
yeah, yeah.
But yes, I see us being able to do that. Just a series of videos that do the talking.
Right.
They experience it, and then they want more. And then
So
they realize they have it all.
the bottom line is the moods can be three different style, we call it.
Mm-hmm.
One take you to the sadness and failure side. Another is fun and enjoyable side, and third is so and so. And that is what we need to trigger this video to help the individual. And that is
Yeah.
what I was able to compose in a simple technique, which
Uh-huh.
any kid can do at home. And in
Mm-hmm.
2, 3 minutes, we can explain what is this focus is all about, what is the concentration is, what is the lack of confidence, right? Why it's not happening because of the distraction. So those are the most commonly impacting terms in mindset and mindfulness is definitely can be convinced to the young kid without talking, reading, or listening. Let them do it on
Absolutely.
their own, and we can
Absolutely.
explain at the moment why certain thing is not going the way it's supposed to be, why this thing is not moving quicker, why it stops middle of the thing. Now those are the point where we can explain like this is not working for you because you are distracted. This is not
Mm-hmm.
working well because you are worried about the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
This is not working because you are in a fear of failure. So those
Mm-hmm.
are the things can be easily explained based on that simple practical game which we are going to give in their hands.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Put the game in their hand and say, okay,
Exactly.
talk to me 6 months from now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
That's it.
they can we what we can do is basically I already tested, believe it or not. I
Uh-huh.
can tell you the strong mindset people can have the reaction quickly
Yeah.
because they are able to change their mood to
Okay.
stay on focus, right?
Yeah.
Where the most of the human being will not be. And because of that, their performance compared to strong mind people, it's impossible, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
can give you one simple, if I have to take you both West Indians, I'll take the West Indies. How
Mm-hmm.
the hell Chandrapal can play those longer innings and other batsmen don't? He played with those people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He holds the world record of losing number of partners. Means he's watching. His partners are falling and he's still batting.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we don't see that. Nobody wants to
No.
stand on the wicket.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you compare, that's a strong mindset.
Well, then you begin to look at his religious perspective and the
Exactly.
practices. Yeah.
So, to be honest, I know his personal life. He does the meditation part heavily.
Absolutely.
Every
Yes.
morning, he
Yes.
practices the meditation. As soon as he
Yes.
wake up, take up the shower, he spends a good
Yes.
amount of time as a both
Yes. Yes.
devotional to the God Siva as well as the meditation. And that is
Absolutely.
what exactly you read. A lot of cricketers will tell you this meditation. And nowadays they are picking up, they call it yoga in cricket. What
Yeah.
is this? It's the same process.
Yeah.
And those are the things we need to blend to make sure they become the good human being if they are not
Mm-hmm.
sports. If they are in
Mm-hmm.
sport, they need to start working or practicing towards that so they can
Mm-hmm.
improve that quality of performance. Those are the key
Absolutely.
components we can help the people to do the better life.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Right?
Look, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Mindset is the goal that you strive for. So, mindset is directly influenced by mood,
Yep.
stimulation.
Yep.
but how does the mood affect the athlete? For example, you will recall back in the maybe 70s or so, there was a tennis player, I think it was a US tennis player.
Mackenzie, go ahead. John McEnroe, sorry.
That's who would get so, I don't want to say frustrated, but
John McEnroe?
That's
the one he fight on
that
the
is
court.
the one. They would get and behave with such mannerism.
Yes.
The question is, how does that type of is it mood swing affect his mind? How comes he was successful in the end? Because he was considered to be a success. But you can see those mood swings, those stimulation in the middle of the match was obviously upsetting him. Where does that fit in with mindset goal?
Again, there are the two things can happen. It depends how we control our mind. I'm on Virat Kohli's side. I do get mad. I do get frustrated. I do get anger. But give me some time. I will bounce back, go to the normal, and I'll be much stronger than what I was in that moment. That's how the Kohli works. The second part is like a Tendulkar. He swallow everything. He never get into the frustration. And he stay away from the angriness, right? The calm, basically, just like the Dhoni does, right? Going back to McEnroe's side, it's because of his strength to control the mind. Every human, it's a natural. You will get frustrated. There is anxiety will traits because of the distractions, so many other factors. What we're discussing here is about the moods. There are plenty of things can change and impact the mood and mindset. But the bottom line is, whoever is able to control this mind are in superpower. Most of the people don't.
That is it. That is it.
Right?
That
is
it,
the
Jay.
difference. Mr. Jesus become the God Jesus, and we are.
Yeah.
Is
Here is what I feel, what I've experienced. Once you lock into the breath and locate the breath within, from that position you manage every mood that you have to deal, every situation that you have to deal with. Because what you're really saying is, I have the resources to manage this situation. When you know that, the situation is dwarfed. The situation is reduced to a molehill every time, but you have to practice your breathing. Now, I have another, what I call a technique, which I call breath tapping.
Yeah.
Breath tapping, breath tapping is simply bypassing the intellect and getting the consciousness into the energy of yourself, so that you're always open to the energy flow in yourself. For the breath is the fuel that runs every cell in your body, the planet, the cosmos. When you can manage your breath, there is no situation that can frustrate you.
So going back to Dannise, go back to that video if you can find on YouTube. Slow down that video and play. Number one act, he got frustrated, got into the anger, lost his focus. So he started that wrongdoing for a few seconds, let's say, whatever he did, right? But immediately after that, look what he did. He split some bad words or may have said some bad words. Means he's getting out his frustration rather than keeping inside and keep it boiling. That's a process. By the time he reached his third line, look at that video. I'm telling you right here. He is taking the deep breath. The deep breath means you are taking extra time to inhale the breath, not the outing breath, right? So during that process, first he reacted because of his mood, frustration, angerness. After that, he threw away with the mouth, talking bad words, nonsense language, screaming, all can happen. Let it go. Dump it out. By the time you go, the deep breathing resets everything.
Yeah.
Says, okay, let's play.
Yeah.
So if you look at this whole incident, I believe it was a minute and 14 seconds to be exact. Let me tell you, I have read this video a couple of times, and we came out to looking at how did he manage and came back. And that is the beauty. The good player understands each and every factor which is causing your mindset. And they usually work around to find a way to go back quickly to the normalization or where they belong to as quickly as possible. And that is the strength they possess to control own mind. The another one during those days, I believe it's a Martina Navratilova.
Yeah.
He used to get mad too. But look at his overall records, look at how they plays, and I will not concern about this player who is doing, let's say, 1,000 minutes well and 1 minute disturbing. That's a frustration. Need to let it go out. And that is the moment. It's just like you can have a plate of rice, but you can expect maybe one small piece disturbing you. Why don't you pick up and throw it out?
That works for tennis. Will that work for cricket? Will that work for soccer? Will that work?
Everything, even in a normal life, works. I'm a nice genius person talking to you, but as soon as I start with my wife, I'm different animal. It's a normal.
Well, let
Either
me
she
say,
like to punch me out or I like to punch you out, but hey, that's a part of the life. Just give and take.
let me challenge you with
And
this, Jatin.
because of that, I love when the Desmond Green talks about it. The lot of people are having one-sided issue. They are not able to switch it.
No, yeah.
Right? And that is what we need to open up. And it's only open up if you find a way to dump it.
We're talking about the skills. If you
Yes.
don't have the skills, you will not be able to achieve the result you
Missing the
desire.
tools. Missing the
Yeah.
tools and skills both.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not, you see, when you were growing up as a child in India, you were surrounded by reminders of the God,
Yep.
the tabernacles, the ashram. It's a culture of
Yep.
groundedness. So you come to the table with that built in. And so you just apply it. With the West Indies cricketers, for instance, it's not the same. Because for most of us, we were exposed to a different kind of religion. A religion that told you that you didn't belong. You, as a matter of fact, you didn't belong to God. That basically, you're a fugitive. You have to be afraid of God. You didn't grow up with that in India. We West Indian players need to have this shift in their identity where they can realize that the God who is the universal source loves them. There is absolutely evidence in everything. With every breath, you are getting the evidence that your God loves you because the breath is love. And so you have to treat that part of our upbringing with a replacement of the experience that Your experience is dictating that you are part of a universal source that loves you. Now, let me apply this love to my cricket. I have it. It is a surplus, and cricket is one of the ways I'm going to express it in. And most of the Indian players come to the table with that kind of connection. It's a meditative cricket they play. And we have to get now, the West Indian cricketers have to get to a place where they do meditative cricket. They come to cricket from a position of power. They have power over the ball. They have power over the person who is going to bowl to them. And the power is inside. So it's really a major undertaking to provide and there now it's not impossible because what we're doing is providing them with the goggles, with the videos that open their minds to this fact that yes, you have a cosmos at your disposal to utilize in whatever way you want to utilize it, but you have to develop the skill set to harness it. Without the skill set, no, it's not going to work. Develop the skill set, and you will be able to harness that power and apply it to whatever task is in front of you.
The major difference I can add to that one between West Indies and India, because I am following a lot West Indies since 1971, and always India, because I grown up there. There are few games every kid in India play during their childhood. These are the street games, cost nothing to them. And I can explain to you why they are stronger. They learn their basic footwork quickness from the skill called jump rope, hopping. Right? It's a street game. And almost everyone in India, I would say, almost you might find 1 out of 10,000 say, I don't know how to jump. That kind of sport is. So that is what the footwork and quick reactions coming from. The second is basically
before you move from that point,
yeah.
In Jamaica, if you as a boy start to try to jump rope, let's say you're a girl.
Yeah, you are a girly boy.
Girly boy.
Right? So they quit. They quit, right?
Yes, of course.
You need to become a macho man to work.
Of course, of course, of course.
The second game we have in a small space, really small space. You are not allowed to run with 2 legs on chasing. Means on defense. On attacking, you can run with 2 legs. We call it hopping games. Means you are hopping yourself to cut the distance to touch somebody with 1 leg. And we use this technique. If somebody is right-handed, the game rule is you are not allowed to hop on right leg. You will be hop on the left leg. So what's happening here, going back in terms of cricket, when you bowl, when you are actually delivering the ball in a last drive, your entire body is on what foot? The front foot, the left leg, if you are a right-arm bowler. If you are a batsman and if you're playing everything up front, which leg you are putting up? Your left leg. So this is the natural game is helping them.
Yeah.
Balancing body on that left leg.
Yeah.
The third thing is the deep breathing. We call it kabaddi. Another game, you are holding the breath up to 90 seconds or more. And during that time, you still have to say kabaddi, 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 and you are going in opposite zone at certain distance. You must cross minimum line before you get back one way. or you have to go and reach and touch opponent players, couple of them, and then come back to the center line to get those many outs, the number points.
Mm-hmm.
But it's teaching you how to do the deep breathing and
Mm-hmm.
continue doing the activity in that 30 to whatever the length of breath you can take. Right? There is a fourth game where they are trying to teach you the quick reactions is the coco. It's snake runs, front runs, side runs, but it's in a small space and it goes so quick. So you are learning the speed and reactions. If you blend these four games simple at the street level, which everyone plays, India is ahead of almost every country to prepare the cricketers.
Yeah, that is right.
Because these are the natural thing helping them.
Yeah.
All the components they need to mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, they usually start. Now, meditation is normal in India, especially for the Hindu. They wake up and they go to the temple, or they wake up immediately after the shower, they do the prayer work. And that is what the meditation comes. So, these five components, which is needed in mindset, it's almost natural in most of the Indian kids,
Yeah,
whether it's a
that is
male or
it.
female.
That is right. That is right. We in the West Indies, we have been on the run in a way. The insecurity aspect of not feeling how wonderful you are, not knowing, not accepting how good you are, and therefore you're on the search for goodness, not realizing that it's located within you. So we need those videos to remind you that, hey, what you're looking for is inside of you.
Yeah. Self belief.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is the point is missing in, I will say, to be honest, I'm not trying to discriminate or blame on anybody, but I see the Afro West Indian culture has that major issue.
Of course, of
Compared
course.
to, I can tell you some Indo-Ghanese or Indo-Trini, especially let's talk Indo-Ghanese, I follow more, like Rohan Kanhai,
Mhm.
Kalicharan, Sivnan, Chandrapal, Ram Naresh Sarwan. We can name it plenty of them. How come they are strong and powerful in their own will to do something? This is what exactly the missing. They
Yeah.
had a better hard time. They had the life living like a hell, uncertain about tomorrow, and they become the stars.
Mhm. But
Because
they
that
had
is what
something.
where these other kids don't want to learn, especially from, I think Jamaica is now fading out in that system completely. Nobody cares about it anymore.
Yeah. Here is, and this is what we call the virus of self-doubt, where we were told that because you have a certain color, you lack the impetus to be supreme. So racism has played its part in undermining our confidence in ourselves and literally is a rot in our character until we remove it. And that's part of what my work is, going in and reminding you that as a universal soul, your fabric, the fabric of you, is coming from the universal source. And there can be no fault in you. There is no feature in you that says you're less than your source. So at this level, that needs to be presented in the immersion goggles as well, so that people can renew themselves.
That is the idea to instill inspiration, like I can do it to
Yes.
begin with, and then
Mhm.
practice whatever you do. And during the action time, you must turn, I can do it too. I will
Yeah.
do it. And if
Yeah.
you have that desire with the hungerness and you
Mhm.
coming with the disciplined works
Yeah.
and a lot of dedicated hard work needed, and
And
that
it
is what the solution is.
and it basically you develop the skill, it will serve you. You don't have the skill, you won't be served by it, no matter how much you want it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the real work, developing the skill set, connecting with yourself, connecting with your cosmos, and know that you have the power of the cosmos at your will.
So I will say to conclude today, get ready with the VR goggles where you can put your cell phone in as
Yes, indeed.
action. If needed, I can send you the link to you. Get those cheaper ones just to test how you feel. And then I
Wonderful.
can
Yeah.
send you a couple of videos to look into and get yourself into
Yes.
that video and see how you feel. Does it make
Yeah.
sense to change the mood? That is the thing we need to test on it.
Yeah.
And then we'll find a way to improve our, uh, I call initiation or whatever the vision we have to make sure it can be helpful in a shorter time rather than longer time. I mean,
Mhm.
directly, I can say we need the impactful, effective video for 60 seconds, not something lengthy 6-minute video, which takes a lot of time. And
No,
in
no.
modern world, people don't have patience, don't have that much time to do it. So it need to be really need to be like your reaction is what happens. Big blast comes next to you, boom, big noise.
Yeah.
What happens? You just suck. You
Yeah.
just suck. Few milliseconds,
Yeah. Copy.
but it takes you out completely out.
Yeah. Copy, paste, and run.
Yep, that's it.
Basically, it has to do
That's
that.
it. Yep, yep. Right.
So I want to just throw this little piece at you, Jetel.
Mm-hmm.
Since I spoke with you,
Mm-hmm.
a paradigm to make sure that this thing is distributed in a general way. I created a, a
We can
domain.
use Moore's channel. We can use on CricMindset. We have mindfulness. There's a plenty of channels, and we'll replicate because we are not
Yes.
trying to get something out of it. It's all
Yeah,
about helping
no, wait
people.
there. Wait there. I want you to get into this. You are an energizer operating at full blast. So that's how we're operating.
Yeah.
Energizers operating at full blast. And what I wanted to say is that I created another another domain called the Quantum Energy Family Festival.
Yeah.
Quantum Energy Family Festival, where we lay out these things and say, come and enjoy. You're in family, come and enjoy. So we can talk about that and see how we add that to
Yeah.
our portfolio.
So, Dennis, we have a lot of things. You only have here the mindset from me, mindfulness from Chambers. This is the another genius, Desmond, dealing with the mood, deep breathing, and he has university as well as channels on these topics. And we are exchanging our ideas, landing new
Yeah,
technology into with the AI coming up as a big way to help people.
that's right.
We also need to look into the ancestor side, then ancient history, going
Yeah,
back maybe 10,000, 15,000 years,
yeah,
and see how they used to cope with the situation, what we're facing. The
yeah,
current situation is happening because we have more things in our life compared to what they had in their life, right? Even if goes like, let's say 500 years back, there was no sports, there was no TV, there was no radio, there was no newspaper, there was no travel, there was no trains, planes. So what was the life? Your family, God, and surrounding.
yeah,
That's the beauty thing to had it, right?
that's
Now we
it.
got plenty of things to do. As soon as you get out of your house, you're going to have 20 ideas. You want to go mall, you want to go for a walk, you want to go for a jog. What I'm saying is like life has changed. And because of that, we need to go in the direction where we can change this mood as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
And that is the
absolutely.
major concern of the world right now when the people go in depression or
Mm-hmm,
committing
mm-hmm,
suicide and
mm-hmm.
the people are giving up, like losing the interest because of the anxiety and frustration and all
Yeah,
those. We
yeah,
need to find a way to prove that the mood can be changed and you can
yeah,
be on the improved side than the failure side. And that's a beauty to
yeah,
help other people. Is there
absolutely.
anything else, Dennis, to conclude? I know you got real exciting information today.
Well, the exciting information from you two gentlemen, and of course, mind, mood, and of course, motivation is something new in the sense that one's digging into it at a deeper sense than it was before, because you're going along on one plane, on one level, and you don't really see the field on the left or the right, but you're going straight ahead. So this is a new environment to launch oneself into.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So I will say thank you both. It was a good discussion tonight.
Yes,
And then
indeed.
I will give video to our other colleagues and our people who are brothers in the same vision. And we'll
Yes,
take that feedback and suggestions and then we'll come back. But before next time, I want to test those VR and some videos to see how that can be effective in terms of talking mood changes. It does, we know that, but how quickly, that is the important factor we need to test. So
what I
till
want
then,
to
I will say, yeah, go ahead, Danny,
what
Desmond.
I want to do is um create some short videos with these mantras that we talk about so that, and how do I do that? How do we do that so that I can supply you with the content? Because every day I do some videos on YouTube and I do some videos on Facebook, and they are available so that we can just copy them and um, do what we need to do with
That
them.
is, there are some videos out there on YouTube which we can
No,
increase
what
the
I'm saying,
speed.
what I'm saying is mine specifically, because what I'm doing with mine, when I say, okay, here are the five basic rights:
Yeah,
breathing consciously, eating consciously, drinking consciously,
yeah,
talking consciously, and loving yourself. Those are rights that you need to internalize.
yeah,
So I want to line up videos with those rights,
yeah,
so that this is a specialty that we add to the mix and
right.
get, yeah,
So that is what we will do on mobile application to make sure that we have all components that
wonderful,
can be
wonderful.
explained to someone in a brief explanation, we call it, within
Yes,
minute or 90 seconds. You don't want
yeah,
more than that, otherwise people will not spend time on it.
absolutely.
And then put them on a practical mode where they can test on their own in a
Yes,
certain video where they can realize in their own shoes, like, hey, this is
yes,
it.
yes,
This is the one me, and I can do it like that.
yes, indeed, absolutely.
Now, got it. And this video will be up some point tonight. My team
Okay,
in India will upload this thing on YouTube and will pass to the other people, as I said. And then we'll come back with more suggestion, feedback, and discussion. But it is, yes, we will definitely have something to help the players and people around the world. So,
absolutely.
with that, I will say thank you all and good night. We'll
All right.
catch you later.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
and good
you.
night. and have fun.
You too.